So one of the things that's been in the back of my mind when watching The Owl House is how clueless everyone is in regards to the human world. Now, we're only a few episodes in, so I'm probably jumping the gun a bit early on this as we will get more world building in future episodes, but I thought it would be interesting to break down what we already know. Just know that this is not a theory, but rather a discussion of events and characters that relate to the topic. So far in the series, the two witches that we have met that know the most about humans are Ida and Gus. Ida having Albert retrieve human trash to sell on the Boiling Isles, and Gus being the former president of the Human Appreciation Society. So obviously they must be the most knowledgeable.
Can I offer you a human foot filled with holes? A bar of green human candy? Oh, how about this black shadow box that reflects only sadness?
Okay, well, Ida is a bit of an oddball, but Gus is a bright, responsible student. Surely he's more informed.
Did you know that humans nail barbed wire to their kids' teeth? But why? Maybe to make them magnetic.
Okay, so it's made pretty clear that even the two most knowledgeable witches when it comes to humans are pretty misinformed. Which is interesting considering that Ida says this in A Lying Witch and a Warden.
This is the Boiling Isles. Every myth you humans have is caused by a little of our world leaking into yours.
So elements of the Boiling Isles traverse the plains to reach the human world with at least somewhat of an accurate depiction, whereas elements of the human world traversing to the Boiling Isles don't have the same results. And Ida does state later in A Lying Witch and a Warden that giraffes were banished to the human world.
Yep, griffins, vampires, giraffes.
Giraffes?
Oh yeah, we banished those guys. A bunch of freaks.
Now, while this was played as a joke, if we really look at this, being sent to the human world is seen as being a punishment, and a rather severe one at that. Even Ida, who is the most wanted criminal on the Boiling Isles, is set to be sent to the conformatorium as was stated in Once Upon a Swap.
Word reached me that you captured my sister. I'll take it from here.
But madam, she's going straight to the conformatorium. I have the order right here.
So even Ida's punishment isn't as severe as being sent to the human world. But what this means is that the Boiling Isles sees the human world as lesser than. And this tracks with how we have seen others treat Luce throughout the series so far. There is the general attitude of residents of the Boiling Isles wanting to eat Luce or just ignore her. But there are also interactions like with Amity and Lilith that show most witches see humans as lesser. Prior to the encounter with Odabin in Lost in Language, Amity primarily referred to Luce as human, and obviously not in the it's a fun nickname kind of way.
Show me what you got, human.
Human! I saw that human girl again. Why won't the human leave me alone?
This clearly shows a lack of respect. And with Lilith in Convention, she says the following.
And look at those ears. Is she human? Where did you even find one of these?
The phrasing, one of these, makes it seem like Lilith is looking at Luce like an object, not a person, further showing the perception of humans from the perspective of citizens of the Boiling Isles. Another thing to note is that Lilith acknowledges Luce's ears. Lilith is obviously intelligent and head of the Emperor's Coven, so it would make sense that she could identify a human, similar to how Gus, the human expert, was able to identify Luce as a human, as well as Willow, who most likely learned about humans from Gus. Willow even says that most witches wouldn't be able to identify a human, so knowledge about humans is probably very scarce on the Boiling Isles, and that lack of knowledge leads to a general arrogance. The great thing about Luce, though, is that she is a wonderful character and is able to bring out the best in others. So those who may have been arrogant towards humans will slowly learn that they aren't as bad or lesser as they may have believed. And we can already see this being the case with Amity. The last thing I want to note is that portals to the human world seem to be pretty rare. I mean, if the Boiling Isles are primarily using them for banishment, then the actual use of portals will be pretty few and far between. So why and how did Ida get access to a portal that she seems to use fairly frequently to restock her human treasures? There really isn't enough info out there to make a good theory on the topic. I mean, Ida is just a mysterious character in general, but the fact that she seems to be the only one outside of the Emperor's Coven and authority figures who have access to a portal makes her even more mysterious. But going back to that clip from Convention, even Lilith seemed shocked and surprised that a human ended up on the Boiling Isles. So this would indicate that Lilith doesn't know Ida has a portal to the human world, meaning this portal was something Ida got access to after she and Lilith drifted apart. There's definitely a lot of questions. And like I said at the beginning of this video, we are only 10 episodes in and I'm trying to break down the social climate between the inhabitants of two different worlds. Definitely not the easiest task. But I do think it's interesting looking at how Luz has been treated so far in this series and how that could indicate some of the bigger world-building elements that we will see with the Boiling Isles. It's clear that most of the Boiling Isles doesn't think that highly of humans and the human world, but we have yet to really see why there is such a disconnect between the human world and the Boiling Isles. Regardless, I am beyond excited to see what's in store for the show, and hopefully we'll get more light shed on the subject. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a fantastic day, and until next time guys, take care.